Okay, we're going to start exercise 4-1, which if you're in my class at Buffalo State, you can go to Content Chapter 4, and we have the starter files here. Click on that to download them. And they're downloaded here. I'm going to take this download and I'm going to move it to my projects folder. So you can do that just by dragging it over. Simple enough. And remember, this is a zip file, so right click on it, extract all. Now we've extracted the zip file. You can go ahead and delete that zip. We're not going to need that again, and it's just going to get in the way. And if we recall, these are the steps right here. So download the start, extract the zip, copy it to your Visual Studio Projects folder, which I've done here. And then we're going to take this folder and rename it to your last name, exercise 4-1. Open the folder, double click on the solution. And if you don't have file extensions turned on, look at the type. You're looking for Visual Studio Solution. The other option is to open the project file, but get used to opening the solution. It's probably a better habit to form. If you get this warning, you can say, okay, it's just making sure that you downloaded something from the internet. Are you sure you want to do that? And get started on the assignment. So again, we're doing exercise 4-1, which is on page 149. All right, so the first thing they want us to do is just run the project. Test the application with a valid subtotal. So I forgot to turn off my antivirus again. So that looks good. 225.50. Hit calculate. Everything looks great. Okay. Just turn off my antivirus there. And that example with 225.50, the discount amount would have been more than 2 decimal places, but it's only showing 2 decimal places. We know that. That's working great. All right. I'm going to close these down. Step 3, it wants us to turn strict options on. So if you double click on my project, under compile, option strict, turn on. So now they're turned on for this project. Then review the errors that are underlined. So if we look at the code for this project, let's see, are we getting any errors yet? Here we go. So you can see the errors down here, and the errors are also underlined in red up top here. And with these errors, you get the light bulb, so you can do a quick fix. And do we want to do that? Which means you can. Okay, so for the first error, we're going to hit the light bulb, insert missing cast, and you can see what it's going to do. You can see that red line is going to be replaced with the green line, and then the stuff that's highlighted is actually what's getting added. So it's using the convert to decimal, or CDEC, as a function. It passes the text subtotal.text argument into that function, and it returns. So it's taking the text and returning it as a decimal. So that's done. And this one here, we could do the same thing. But the book actually wants us to just put the D after the 0.25. So it's taking this and making it into a decimal value. So now this can compile and work as expected. Fantastic. All right, that was step 4. Going on to step 5, enter $$1000 for the amount. And you're going to get an exception error here. What this is showing you is just that you'll still get exception errors even though you have option strict turned on. Step 6 is talking about turning option strict on for all new applications, which I recommend you do. That's outlined in figure 4.8. I'm just going to flip back and find where that is. Tools options. And we have VB defaults. I haven't changed this in a while. Oh, within projects and solutions, VB defaults, option strict should be turned on. So again, that was tools options. Under projects and solutions, VB defaults, option strict turned on. Okay, that was step 6. Now, step 7, we're going to modify the code a little bit. Modify the first statement in the button calculate click procedure so it uses the parse method of the decimal class instead of CDEC. So instead of CDEC here, and for this one, make a copy. Let's see if I remember. Is copy Control D? Okay, so Control D, I made a copy of that line, and then I'm going to do Control KC, and that's going to comment out the CDEC line. So now when you hand the assignment in, I can see that you added CDEC there, but this is what we are using instead. And it wants us to use the parse method of the decimal class instead of CDEC. So we're going to, so if you think about this, the parse method, so it's a method, so it has, you know, the parentheses after it, of the decimal class. So instead of CDEC, we're using decimal.parse, the parse method of the decimal class. And then test this is going to work the same. Step 8, round the values that are stored in discount amount and invoice total to 2 decimal places. So discount amount, we're going to round this and to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use, so I selected that code, I cut it, math.round, that line, 2 decimal places. And we're going to do the same thing with invoice total. Let's do some copy and paste there. And then delete format currency functions for these variables and note the errors that it causes. So it's causing some errors. So we discount amount is a decimal, and the error is we can't take this decimal because option strict is turned on and shove it into, you know, a property that expects a string, and that's what is going on here. Disallows implicit conversion from decimal to string. To fix these errors, use the toString method. So there is the light bulb, and the light bulb saying use C-type and change it to a string, but these are decimals, and the decimal has the toString method. So we can add that on here. Notice when you choose that, because it's a method that takes no arguments, you don't need the parentheses. Personally, I prefer them because if you look at this line, it kind of this visually indicates that this is a method, versus this line, this toString looks like a property of this object, not a method. So I like to have the parentheses there. I think it's easier for someone else to come to your code, pick it up, and start reading it. All right, and then we're going to run it. The test with 225.50, there you go. That's what it looks like right now. So, you know, the biggest difference here is these amounts don't have dollar signs, but that is what's expected when we did that. So we took the amount, which was a decimal, we rounded it to 2 decimal places, and then when we put it into the text property of the text boxes, we had to convert it to a string. There you go. That is 4-1.